Okay. Hello, everyone. Good day, and welcome once again to another session with Hailerz Global. This is one of the sessions you don't want to miss for any reasons whatsoever, because this is going to be more interactive, more hands-on, and very educative. And I would like for everyone here to get seated, get your notes, get your pen, get whatever it is you want to use to get all this knowledge I'm going to be sharing today, because it's going to be a huge one, and I want each and every one of us to go home with something. So, very quickly, I'm going to share my slides so that we could, all see what we're up and about. Okay. First things first, I want to appreciate everyone that is here. Thank you for making out time to join this. This place has been amazing. Aside from me, I have learned a lot from other tutors. I have learned a lot from your questions. I have learned a lot from other lessons. Like, there were things that I thought I knew that I had to I had to relearn from you guys, and it's been a wonderful experience, and I hope it's been the same experience for everyone else. So that being said, we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to be doing a lot of showing and a lot of hands-on. So permit me, my screen is going to be moving from left to right, up and down, because I need to show you the things I'm actually teaching you so it could make more sense. So very quickly, the topic for today, we're going to be talking about mastering productivity tools, digital productivity tools. And in mastering digital productivity tools, we're going to be looking at Google Workspace and ClickUp. Google Workspace and ClickUp. Before I go ahead, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Eunice, and I'm a digital skills trainer, and of course, an operations and admin specialist, social media manager, whatever kind of hat you think I'm wearing right now, but all of it is what makes me who I am. And basically, what I do is I train people on how to excel in remote work, in freelancing. I also help clients, achieve their goals, ROIs for companies, startups, and businesses. So there is a lot going on around here. And what I'll be doing today is I will be teaching you everything you need to know as a beginner, medium user, and a professional about Google Workspace and ClickUp. Now, first things first, I know we already know what Google Workspace is. I'm not going to ask who has already used Google Workspace, because I know that you all have somehow used, even if not all of the workspace tools, but you've used Document, which is very common to Microsoft Word. So that's something I know you're familiar with. Then for ClickUp, I know most of you have heard what it is, but you don't know what it looks like. So I'm quickly going to breeze into my ClickUp space and show you what it looks like, okay? So ClickUp basically is a productivity tool. Let me go home. That actually helps you to organize your day, organize your life, and basically organize everything around you. So it has a lot of, I'm going to be explaining what all of this mean as we go. Like I said, it was going to be very hands-on. I'll be explaining what all of this mean as I go. But this is what the interface basically looks like. So you're going to have a space like this where you could play around, where you could organize your task, organize your client work, your personal tasks, the things you want to achieve, even your long-term goals, your short-term goals, whatever it is, you want to achieve. I'm quickly going to show you all of that in a very short time. Okay, so while that is loading, I want you to understand that the main aim by the end of this class is for you to be able to help, or for you to be able to know how well to use ClickUp and Google Workspace to help you achieve your personal goals, achieve your school goals if you're still in school, achieve your projects as a freelancer, achieve your client's project as a freelance expert, and then basically move on with life in general. So the first part is going to be, what is Google Workspace? So we're going to talk about Google Workspace and its essentials. This is going to be very detailed, so I want you to follow me as I go, because it's going to be a step-by-step process. Okay. So now, Google Workspace basically includes all of Google emails, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Calendar. I'm just going to show you what that means very quickly. So I'm just going to open a new tab on my PC. And then I'm going to go into where you have this 9 dots towards the right-hand side, top right corner. I'm going to click on it. And as you can see, when I hover over it, it shows me Google Apps. What this simply means is this is what we call Google Workspace. All of this make up the Google Workspace. So if you're using your phone, it's going to be a very different thing from what you're seeing right now on my screen. But if you're using your PC, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so Google Workspace, like I said, includes Google Drive, your main Google account, your Google search, your Google Maps. YouTube is part of Google, your Play Store, your Google News, your Gmail, your Google Meet, what we're using to host this meeting. We have Google Chat, so you could chat with people on Google. We have your contacts. So basically, for those of you that save contacts on your email, in quote, it means you saved them in your Google account. So if you say you have an Android phone and it says, where do you want to save this contact? And you choose a particular email to save your contact on, it simply means you're saving those contacts in Google. I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of people do that and they don't even know what you're doing. So you've just saved those contacts in Google. So that's Google Contacts. So we have calendar. Of course, Google Translate, we know what this is when you're trying to translate from one language to the other, maybe working for someone or listening to someone speak. So you have Google Photos where you can save your photos. You have Google Ads, you have shopping, you have Google Business, which most of you have heard about. And we have, of course, Google Gemini. There are other parts of the workspace, the finance, the docs, the sheets, the slides, Google Books, Google Blogger, Google Classroom, where you could actually learn from Google. We have Google Save, Google Arts. There are a lot of them. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of this. I'm just going to pick a few and I'm going to talk about them. The few that are very important in your role, your life as a student, in your life as a freelancer, in your role as maybe a freelance expert to companies, whatever it is you're doing. And now, why is Google or why is Google Workspace important? Number one, it's accessible anywhere. Number two, it's easy and free to start. And number three is cloud-based. I'm going to bring this home. Just like those of you that use iPhones, iCloud. So Google acts as your iCloud, but now in Google. For Android users, Google is your iCloud. For iPhone users, Google is iCloud is your storage. So for Android users, Google is that same storage. So it's cloud-based. Now, first things first, I'm going to talk about Google Docs. What I'm using for this lesson right now is Google Docs. But how do you create a new document in Google? That's what I'm going to show you. I know most of you do it. Most of you know how to do it. But I'm going to start from the top, okay? So I'm going to go back to the free space I worked on. And I'm going to go back into my Google Apps. I'm going to go find Google Docs and I'm going to click on it. Now, this is what it looks like. You're going to find this. So when you come into your Google Docs for the first time, Google in itself has templates like every other applications you use. Templates you could choose from based on the kind of document you want to work with, okay? It depends. What do you want to work with? So you could choose from any kind of template. So we have resume, we have letter, we have project proposal, we have brochure, we have a lot of all of that, okay? You could decide to go into the template gallery to search for more templates. As you can see, these are all resume kind of templates from Google. These are all other kind of templates from Google. These are like, personal stuff. This is work related. So the project name, annual board meeting. So we have meeting notes, meeting agendas. We have a brochure for travel. We have a product brochure. We have a company newsletter. You could play around all of this space. But simply put, this is what Google offers. Now, if you want to create a blank document, say you have something to type or you have something to do with your Google Docs, you just come here and click on blank and it's going to open up a fresh page, just like your Microsoft Word or just like your note. Okay. Now, when you've opened this blank space, I want to show you something that is very important when it has to do with permissions as to who can access this particular, sorry, I think someone is trying to come in. Let me admit the person. Okay. Welcome, Adedayo. Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm going to go back to this. So Google shows you this space. So now I want to talk about permissions. Who can edit, who can comment, and who can share your document. These are things that are very important so that somebody doesn't hijack your work or hijack your document or hijack your project from your Google or from your Google Docs rather. So I'll come in here. Sorry, I had to minimize that. I'll come into where we have share. As you can see, when I hover over share, you can see it's private only to me. So which means if you find this document anywhere via a link or via the web, you can't get into it because it's only me that has access to it. So now what would I do? I'll come down to the drop down and I have sharing options. Or I click on the share and it's going to show me give your document a title. So I'll just call this mine. Okay. And I'm going to save that. So now, have you seen? It gives us this sharing option. Simply put, when you see restricted, it means only people with access can open the link. That means I have to add you here, maybe your email, for instance. Then I have to now give you three permissions, three different kinds of permissions. Either I make you an editor, simply meaning you can change the things I have written in this document. You can delete something from the document, and you can change how this document basically is presented. You can edit it. Commenter, you only have access to comment. Sorry, I'm going to still let people in as much as possible. You only have access to comment on this document. You cannot edit, you cannot delete, you can't change how it looks. Viewer means you can only see. You cannot edit, you cannot comment, you can't give, you can't say nothing because you only have the view access. So, but this is restricted only to if I add you to the document. But now there's something else. I can decide that I don't want to add your email or I don't have your email. For instance, say I work with a new firm. I don't have the email of the COO and I want to share a document with him via my direct supervisor. I'll come here and say anyone with the link. But be careful, guys, because once you say anyone with the link, even if he's a madman on the road that has the link, he's going to view this document. So in most cases, confidential documents don't go with this. Very confidential documents don't go with anyone with the link. They are very restricted to, what's the word? They're restricted to specific people. So they prefer to add those people's email so that they know who went into the document. We don't go with anyone with the link, but anyone with the link is like maybe you want to share some notes with your friends or something you wrote on your Google with maybe colleagues or whatever. You could do anyone with the link. Now, anyone with the link also has the same three permissions. You could either give anyone with the link an editor access. You could give anyone with the link a commenter access. You could give them a viewer access. Now, if you give them editor access, even if I'm not in your circle, I don't know you, I'm not your friend, and maybe one of your colleagues shared this document with me, I could go wipe it clean and you lose everything. Yes. So you have to be very careful with this one. So majority of the time, when you say anyone with the link, I would always advise my student, give them only viewer access. They can only see it. They can't do otherwise. Now, if it has to do with maybe someone you're working with or your project supervisor or a colleague at work, and the person needs to comment or make a few corrections, give them the commenter access. Be the only person to edit the correction so that you know that you still have your original document intact. So that is what it means when you're sharing on Google. So I had to quickly show how multiple people can edit, and I had to tell you who can comment and give suggestions and all of that. Now, I'm going to go quickly into Google Drive. So that's basically what a document looks like. So it's simple, it's easy, it's good to go and everyone's fine. I'll quickly go into Google Drive, okay? And I'll show you what it looks like. Now, one thing I love about Google is the versatility of all the workspace tools. So let me open Google Drive. Now, as you can see, this is what my drive looks like. Sorry, it's a bit of everything, but quickly what it looks like. When you come home on Google Drive, it shows you basically everything. So suggested folders, I don't know, everything I have worked on very recently. If you go to my drive, it kind of gets everything organized. Now, majority of you, your Google Drive looks like a stack of potatoes, unarranged, very unkept. So it's just document, 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 document. You don't have folders that you could easily organize things. So now this is what Google Drive interface looks like. Now, when you step into your Google Drive, it is advisable you create folders or you upload folders depending on what you're trying to organize. I'll show you how to do that. If you come to new, you're going to have new folder, which means I want to create a folder in my Google Drive. I could have file upload, which means I want to upload a file from my system in my Google Drive. I would have folder upload. Then also from Google Drive, I could create a document. So which means if I come into my Google Drive and create a document, it automatically saves in my drive. I don't need to specially save it to some place. It stays in my drive. So that's why I said I love the versatility of all of these tools because they kind of get connected. I could also create a sheet. That is how this works. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we're here. I hope everyone's following. If you have a question, please drop it in chat. Once I'm done with this, I'll get back into it. So now that's how to organize Drive. Now on Drive, you also have options to share. You also have sharing permissions on Drive. So I'm quickly going to make an example of one of my folders, which is the folder I called mine. I'll click on the three dots and you're going to see share. Now, when you see share, you have this option of either you copy the link and send it to someone or you share. Now, when I click on share, this is what pops up. Exactly the same thing like the Google document. If I don't add you to this particular folder, you cannot have access. So I'm quickly going to do something very, very okay now. So I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go into our chat and I'm going to drop it. Okay. So I want anyone on this call to try to open this document. And let's see what it says. Okay. Now you see that people need access. Can you see? So all of these people have clicked on this document. So they've tried to enter this document. They've tried to enter this document. But you now see that Google is now asking me, do I grant them access? And of course, my answer is going to be no, because that's my personal stuff. Okay. Do I grant them access? The answer is no. I quickly wanted to show you that because when you don't grant people permission to your Google, they can't get in. So the same thing, you could either grant them editor access, you could grant them viewer access, you could grant them commenter access. I'm going to quickly move on to Google Calendar and email. I'm trying to make sure that I make do with the time that we have so that I could show you the basic and most important things I need to show you before our time is up. Okay, so Google Calendar simply is your regular calendar. It's not a big deal. It's no brainer. This is what it looks like. So I'm quickly going to show you my calendar. And for the record, I have 3 calendars in one because it helps me stay organized. Okay. Google Calendar is one of my favorite tools. I don't know about anyone else, but it kind of helps me organize my day. I actually know what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to do it, and how I'm supposed to do it. Okay, so right now we're in this meeting and I have my bedtime set for 10 p.m., which I know I'm going to exceed it because I have work. But that's by the way. When you come into Google Calendar, this is what the interface looks like. So now you could either view, I'm going to start with your calendar view. You could either view your calendar. Let's hover to the top where you can see my mouse. This is it. You could either view your calendar by the day. You could view it by the week. You could view it by the month. You could view your calendar by the year. And you could view your calendar by schedule. Schedule simply means all of the stuff you have to do in the day. So it's arranged just like that in a straight line, as you can see. Okay. Or you could view your calendar by 7 days. So it shows you like a 7-day window for your calendar. Okay. Now, as you can see, all of this is what your calendar looks like. Now, some of you may be wondering, why does my calendar look so colorful? Like, what's all these colors and all of that stuff? I am going to show you. Hold on. No hurry. It's very simple. So if you want to come into Google Calendar, say you want to create an event in Google Calendar, you come to create. You now have 3. So now event simply means you want to create something that will happen or something that you want to do. Task simply means you want to create a task for yourself. Let's say you have intentions to go to the market tomorrow to maybe do like a few grocery shopping. You could create that as a task. Once you're done, you can tick it out. I'm going to show you. Let me hold up and show you what Google Tasks is. Now, if you see here, we have, I'm going to select this by the day so that you see what today is. We have 14 pending tasks. Now, when you click on it, you're going to have, so I created this task in June, create content for LinkedIn and TikTok. It's something I have done. I don't know why it's still here. You have an option to edit this task. You have an option to mark it as complete. Revamp TikTok page, revamp someone's profile, revamp personal LinkedIn page, which I've already done. Fix my email signature, which I have already done, obviously. Create freelance account on other platform. I did that already. So as you can see, this is like January, February, and June. Google Task. Now, if I want to click on create and I click on task, this is what the interface looks like. Boom. So it gives me what kind of task do I want to create. I should add a description to the task and I should either just create it or do I put it inside content creation or personal branding or my mentees, whatever. But it depends on where I want to categorize the task. So these are more like task categories. Okay, this is very simple to create. But then I don't want to do that. So I'll go out of here. I just want to show you what the interface looks like. I'll go back in and come to event. Now, when I click on event, I have this interface. Please and please and please, there's something we should take note of. Anytime you come in here, click on more options because you want it to be bigger. Here we are now. I want to say, so say from tomorrow morning, I have, let's say, the doctor's appointment. Okay. And tomorrow, I'm going to go into the date. Tomorrow is the 6th, which is Monday. And I have this appointment for 9 a.m. to say 12 noon. Perfect. Now, please and please take note. This is important because if you're working for people outside of Nigeria or you have intentions to, you have to understand this. When you're done with this, before you proceed, please come to time zone and be sure that the time zone is your time zone or your client's time zone. Careful, guys. This is something extra, but I just wanted to mention it because most times you schedule an appointment, say for 9 a.m. tomorrow, and you see it's not on your calendar. The time zone might be wrong. So make sure that it's your time zone and you click on OK. Then when is this appointment? It's just 9 to 12, so it's not an all-day event. Then do you want this to repeat itself every month or every week or every Monday or every first day, first Monday, or annually, or whatever, you could decide to add the repetition yourself. Now, is it going to be this doctor's appointment? Is it going to be in person or by appointment? I would say it's going to be in person. So I don't need to add a Google Meet conferencing because I'll be going to the hospital. Now, the location, I could add the location of the hospital. So I'm going to say Marianne. Um, Faith Foundation. Faith Foundation Clinic. Beautiful. So that's where my hospital is located. Then when do I want Google to let me know that I have a doctor's appointment? I'm going to make this notification. So do I want an email sent or do I want just a pop-up on my device, on my mobile device? I always recommend notifications because email could just be, they just clog your emails. Okay. So now I want this to be done hours. So I want them to notify me an hour before my appointment. I could decide to say, okay, notify me another 30 minutes before my appointment and maybe 5 minutes before whatever it is. All right. Then you go on to why you're seeing this is because I use 3 calendars, like I said. So I'll leave it on my work calendar. Please and please be careful here too. When you are selecting this option, if it's a personal project, something that you could be distracted about, you could put this as free. Why I'm saying so is in the near future, depending on the people you get to work with, they could want to schedule stuff into your calendar. So when that place is busy, your calendar will not show them that time as being available. It could show them that you don't have time on your calendar. Okay. So that being said, always leave it as free. Then you could add a description, short description as to why you're going to the hospital to see the doctor. Then since it's just you that is going, it's fine. But if you're going to be going with someone else and you want the person to also be notified, you add the person's email address. Okay? You add the person's email address. Now, once you've added the person's email address, let me just add anyone random. Okay? Now, what kind of permission do you want to give the person? Do you want the person to be able to modify this event? So which means he or she can change the date, can change the time, can even delete the event. Do you want him to invite others or do you want him to just see the guest list? If you click on this, it's going to click on everything else. So all of this automatically agreeable. But if you click on invite others, he cannot change the event. He can only invite a third party to this meeting. Okay? So in most cases, excuse me, very rare cases, you don't even give anyone the permission. Now, hold on. I'm going to put something else. Now, as you can see, when you hover over this, you're going to see mark as optional. If you're having like a team meeting, like this meeting we have, and I'm inviting each and every one of you to the meeting, I could decide to say mark as optional. Marking as optional means you can either attend or not attend. But if I say mark as required, it simply means you must attend the meeting. So it's always going to pop up on your email and always notify you because you're supposed to be in this meeting. So when you're done with this, you click it, so here is why my calendar has colors. As you can see, when I drop down, sorry, excuse me, when I drop down, you're going to see other colors. So I can decide to make this event orange, yellow, purple, whatever it is, green, So when I do that, I click on save and we are good to go. I click on save and we're good to go. Sorry, I have to discard it. I don't need it on my calendar. So you're seeing all of this on my calendar. So you're seeing all of this on my calendar because of how I colored each and every one of them, as you can see. Quickly, let's move on to the next part, which is ClickUp. ClickUp is a wonderful tool as well. and I hope that it's loaded because I want to show you hands-on. I want to show you hands-on what ClickUp is. Are we good? Yes, I think we're good. Everyone here, I hope you all can still hear me perfectly and clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, great. I just wanted to be sure of that. Okay, then, so we'll move over to ClickUp. It's loading for quite a while. Okay, so this is loading for a while, so I just hope that it comes up. But very quickly, let me explain what ClickUp is. ClickUp is a project management tool, more like a productivity tool that really helps you to streamline your tasks, your goals, your timeline, and everything. If you have ever missed a deadline, you're going to need ClickUp. I miss deadlines a lot. So most times, aside from the fact that I use Google Calendar, other uh, other tools like ClickUp come in very handy when I'm dealing with lots of client work because it requires so much. You're doing so much at a time. So believe you me, you need um all of this tools that could just help keep your brain in check if that's what I'll call it. Okay. So then it uses one platform to basically manage everything. Like I said, your entire digital life. So for students, you could manage it could be your assignment planner. For freelancers, you could plan your client project. For business owners, you could plan your team workflow. Totally depending on what you actually want to plan. I don't know why this is taking so much time. I just hope that it just does what it's supposed to do so we can get into it and see it. I'm running very quickly, as fast as possible, because of the time that I have. Now, I want to quickly explain this before I show it to you. So ClickUp has hierarchies, just like in an office, in a company, you have the CEO, you have the co-founder, CEO and founder, you have the co-founder or the COO, you have the chief of staff, COS, you have the executive assistant, you have so executive assistant, accountant, head of department, all of them are basically on the same level. Okay. You now have the junior staff, then you now have everyone else in that regard, in that line, as that hierarchy as they go. Same thing with ClickUp. ClickUp has hierarchies. So in ClickUp hierarchies, we have spaces, which are like departments. We have folders, which are like groups of large projects. We now have lists, which are like project breakdowns, and we now have tasks, which are like the things that we can do to basically get to where the lists are or to achieve the set things on the list. Then eventually make sure that we've done everything in the folder and as time goes. So I gave it a very brief example. I don't know why this is happening, but let me open my ClickUp from the top and see. So now I gave a very brief example here, and the example, sorry, let me close this out so that it doesn't disturb. So if I create a space in ClickUp and call it personal growth, under personal growth, I could have 5 folders: online learning, fitness, feeding, or what's that thing? Food or feeding. So I could have online learning for my personal growth. I could have fitness, I could have feeding, I could have skincare, and I could have mental development, whatever. So if I have, I'm trying to get this to open so I could actually show you. Let me see if I can open another ClickUp basically from another tab, and let's see if it will let me in. Most times ClickUp actually requires a very strong internet connectivity to load. So it's a very crazy tool. Trust me, it's something, but it's worth it if you actually know how to use it. So that's what it is. So on inside personal growth as a mother folder, or a space. I have folders, which could be 5, 6, 10, depending. Then inside each of these folders, so for online learning now, I could have different lists. I could have digital tools training for online learning. I could have data analysis training for online learning. I could have social media management training still under online learning. I could have affiliate marketing training still under online learning. So under the folder, I could have different lists, lots and lots of it, based on what I am working on or what is permissible to do. Okay. Going forward, from there, we have setting up a simple project. So I'm supposed to demonstrate this. So give me one moment. I've switched my internet to something else. Beautiful. So let's see, ClickUp come alive. Then we can now walk through this very quickly. Great. So this is going to happen faster than I expected. But yes, so I need to get in so I could show you all of these things that I'm talking about. It's easier shown than said. It's easier done than said, rather than said than done. Okay. So yes, 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 yes. We are here. What was I saying? Spaces. So if you look at let me start from the top. This is my space, personal space. Now I'm going to go here. So where you have spaces, you've seen this guy. Branding is a space. I'm going to minimize that. COHQ, so CEO's headquarter is a space. Executive assistant is a space. Upwork client is a space. Post is a space. So if I come here and click on create space, that's it. It's going to show me what kind of space do I want to create. So I could decide to call these Hailerz space. Then I could come in here and change the icon to whatever I like. Okay, I could upload an icon, or I could just, use binoculars. Then I could change the color to blue, this shade of blue. Then I'll step out of there and I click on continue. So when you click on continue, it's going to ask you all of this stuff. Basically, don't bother here. This is not where you're headed. Just create the space. Then we come back to fix it. Okay, so I have limited number of spaces, but that's how to create a space. So I have limited number of spaces on my free plan. So that's it. So now when you create a space, let's say for branding, I'm going to open branding up. Now under branding, I have business and I have coaching. So under branding, I have the business side of branding and I have the coaching side of branding. What am I saying? Inside the space, you have folders. So that's the hierarchy. Now let's open under the business side of branding. I have lists. So we have a space named branding. We have a folder named business. Hold on before I go further. How do you create a folder in a space? You come to, I finished creating the space branding. I come to where I have the plus and I click on folder and it pops up a space and I click on folder. So I'm going to call this folder Hailerz and I'll click on create. So now inside branding, we have business folder, coaching folder, and Hailerz folder. Now inside Hailerz folders, we have a list. Note guys, we have a list. Now, when you come into Hailerz and open it up, there is a list. But then again, this list is empty. There's nothing here. So what do I want to call my first list? I could click on the three dots, scroll to the top and click on rename. I want to call my first list digital products. And I'll click on it. So since my first list is named digital product, when I open my list, I'm going to see my task. Let me go back to the notes so you follow me. When you click on the space, you create a space. Inside the space, you create a folder. Inside the folder, you create a list. Inside the list, you create task. So when I come back here, we have a space named branding. I created a folder. How do you create a folder? I'll go over it again. The plus folder and you create. Now inside the folder, I want to create a list, the plus list, and I create. As you can see, when you click on the folder, it doesn't show you a place to create another folder. Instead, it shows you a place to create a list. So it's a hierarchy. So once I create the list and I open the list, I now see my task. So I have to-dos. So inside digital product, what are the things I want to do? Collate. I'm just using this as an instance from Hailerz Global. Collate all lessons on digital tools into Google Docs. And I click on enter. Once you click on enter, it has created. Now, but when you create a task, this is something I want you to always take note of. If you just do this and step away, you're never going to get notified. This tool is going to be useless to you. So when you create a task, what you do is you come here and assign yourself. This is my assistant. You come here and set a due date. When do you want to get this done? I want to get it done between now and Tuesday. All right. You come here and set the priority. Is it urgent? Is it high? Is it normal? Whatever. So I'll just set it at priority. When you come to this plus, please look at this very, very clearly. When you come to this plus, it will now show you other custom fields you want to add. So do you want to add a checkbox? So when you're done, you could check it. Do you want to add a formula? Do you want to add a custom text? Do you want to add files? Do you want to add people? Do you want to add the progress? You know, whatever it is, it depends on you. Now, something else I want to bring to our understanding. After you've created a task, there's something else you should confirm. If I start working on collating all the lessons on digital tools into a Google Docs, two things will happen. Once I start the task, someone else on this space needs to know that I have started the task. So I need to confirm. I'll come back into here, list settings, and I'll come back into list statuses. Now, understand that, sorry, someone is trying to join. Okay. I think the person is in already. Fine. So if I come back into statuses, okay, I'll now come to list statuses. Now, why are you checking the status? I'll show you. If I open on it, you're going to see in this list, I have to-dos, I have in progress, I have tax to VA, I have for review, I have approved, I have complete. So if I start a project like this task now, I say I want to start this task this today. If I start a project, I'll come into this circle, click on it, and move it to in progress. Once I do, it's going to change. So if another person steps into this ClickUp space and you see in progress, you know that, okay, I have started this task, but I've not completed it. If I want to change where I'm at the project, I could click on this and click on for review. So which means my supervisor or anyone in charge will be able to review this project and say, okay, after reviewing, he or she can change it to approved, and I can finish it and move it to complete. Now, once a project gets into complete, it is hidden. Yes, once a project gets into complete, it is hidden. That is how ClickUp works. So for you to be able to see the projects that are complete, you come down to where you have the group status, sub status, you know, all of that. You come to close and you click on it. Once you click on close, it's going to bring out that particular project. So it's either the sub tags and the tags, whatever. But then I just wanted to show you what it means to create a space. Okay, to create a space, inside the space to create a folder, inside the folder to create a list, and inside the list to create a task. So this is how well you could get your ClickUp to work for you like a masterpiece. All right. Now, setting up simple project. I think I've already shown you that the list, due dates, statuses, priority tags. So something else I want to show you, there are two kinds of views on ClickUp. If you have used Trello before, it's also another productivity tool. It shows this way. So if I have this list, I'm going to go over to a list that is well populated, something um I have worked on. Let's see. So I'm going to use my executive assistant list. Okay, so I'll go into this, my EA list. Now, so this is my EA space, executive assistant headquarters. Now, when I open the space, this is how it looks, general overview. As you can see, there are documents in the space, so you could create documents in ClickUp as well. I want to view a board view. These are different kinds of views. So there's a team view, there's a board view. So when I click on the board view, this is what the interface looks like. Okay, this is what the interface looks like on a board view. Now on a list view, this is what it looks like. So onboarding, we have first week overview, first month goals, all of that stuff in the HQ. If you have a team view is also different. You have to pay for. So majority of the views are subscribed for, but the list view and the board view are very, very, very okay to use. You don't need any other thing. So now you could actually integrate what's it called? You could actually integrate ClickUp and Google Drive. So you could share documents across each platform. I'm going to quickly show you what that does. So when you come to ClickUp, you're going to come into where you have your face, your icon. Click on the drop down, and you're going to come into settings. When you open settings, you're going to come into apps. You're going to scroll down. Sorry, I hope we all are seeing my extreme left corner. So we have people, upgrade, whatever. I just need apps. When I click on applications, now it's either I create a new app or I integrate an app into ClickUp. So majority of the time, instead of going into that, I just come to App Center, because app is like I want to create a new app, but App Center is different. So when you come into App Center, you're going to see you have your Dropbox here, Figma, GitHub, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Jira, Microsoft Teams, Outlook Calendar, Salesforce, Slack, and Zoom. What do I want to integrate into ClickUp? Google Drive or Google Calendar or Google whatever. So let's say I want to integrate Google Drive. Once I click on it, it's going to ask me to connect my drive. Once I connect, I can easily share new documents, Excel sheets, new project, whatever in ClickUp. That is how sweet and seamless this tool is. Trust me, you don't need any other tool if you have and master these two tools. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go back into the notes just to make sure that I pull all of this together. So now combining Google Workspace and Google and ClickUp is one of the very powerful things that people don't know about. Once you create the document, connect it to ClickUp task, schedule a meeting in Google Calendar, link it to ClickUp project, save a client asset in your Google Drive, and you can connect it to ClickUp. So here and here and here, I'm going to use the next 5 minutes or less to take questions. I hope this was, well understood. I know that if you need more details, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, because by all means, I am more than, available to help you navigate through ClickUp and everything else you would want, as long as it's within my power and my reach. So thank you all so much for joining in. I'm trying to step out of here. I might have to refresh this and step back in. Sorry, one moment, please.